In the deep silence of space, a grand alien fleet floated in a perfect formation around a peaceful world. The stars shimmered like cold diamonds, and the void stretched endlessly around them. The alien commanders waited with calm breath and patient eyes. They believed the humans were arriving soon, and they expected a small shuttle. No danger, no threat, only a gentle meeting between two young civilizations. They planned a friendly welcome, a diplomatic ceremony, a first contact of peace. The alien flagship hovered closest to the landing point, its metal surface black and smooth, its lights pulsing softly. The crew inside busied themselves, preparing glowing banners and ceremonial drones meant to greet the tiny human shuttle soon to appear. There was excitement, curiosity, and a naive hope among the young crew members. They imagined new trade agreements, shared knowledge, and peaceful friendship. Stories of peaceful alliances filled the air like music. The senior commander stood at the viewing deck, hands clasped behind his back, his voice slow and calm. He reminded his officers that humans were weak compared to most species. They had small colonies, little influence, and primitive technology, but he welcomed them anyway, seeing a chance for diplomatic growth and future opportunity in this meeting. He thought the humans would send a tiny shuttle carrying diplomats, translators, and peace ambassadors ready to shake hands metaphorically and join the galactic community. He imagined a small vessel, barely visible, entering orbit and landing softly like a leaf on still water. But doubt stirred in the back of his mind when a junior officer reported strange energy. Spikes, the commander, dismissed it at first, thinking it was a sensor glitch. Space was full of anomalies after all, but the readings persisted, sharp and rising like a silent warning that something big was coming. In the observation chamber, the crew watched distant stars flicker and fade as long-range scanners recalibrated. They whispered among themselves, curious, but mostly excited. The young officer, who first saw the anomaly, felt nervous sweat form on his neck. He requested another scan, asking if the incoming vessel matched known shuttle size signatures. The computer replied negative, leaving an eerie feeling hanging in the air like ice in the lungs. The alien fleet communications echoed with polite diplomatic phrases, voices cracking slightly under the pressure of anticipation. The atmosphere was tense, yet hopeful. They wanted to trust their predictions that a peaceful encounter was unfolding. The diplomatic drones were armed only with ceremonial lights and welcome symbols. No weapons were prepared for conflict. No shields were raised. The fleet was vulnerable, unprotected against a threat if one arrived. But no one believed danger was near. They only expected a small, quiet shuttle, nothing more. Far beyond their sensors, human crew aboard a massive ship prepared, their engines glowing blue and fierce like burning stars. Their presence unknown. The ship design was enormous, jagged and metallic, its hull built for war, forged in battles fought light years away, a symbol of human determination and history of survival. The alien commander inhaled slowly, trying to calm himself while staring at the sensor screens. He ordered visual confirmation, but the deep darkness of space offered no answer. Suddenly, the scanning arrays flickered. The data streams spiked, showing impossible scale readings. The returning signal suggested that the approaching object was many magnitudes larger than any shuttle they had records for. Whispers turned to confusion, confusion turned to fear. The crew could not understand why humans would arrive with such power for a peaceful ceremony. Then the realization dawned slowly like a cold dawn. Perhaps humans were not as weak as they had believed. Perhaps they had underestimated human strength, resilience, and ambition. Perhaps the humans hid their power until the moment of first contact. As the alien fleet processed the growing fear, junior officers exchanged worried glances. They read data again and again, struggling to accept the size of the incoming vessel. This was no diplomatic shuttle. This was something else, something powerful, something terrifying. The commanders suddenly felt regret for lowering the fleet shields, but it was too late. Now the alien ships hung defenseless like prey beneath the unseen presence, approaching them still invisible against the ocean of stars. The flagship radar pulsed louder now. As the anomaly grew stronger, a distant tremor echoed through the void, silent, yet powerful. The crew sensed something massive, disturbing the fabric of space itself, like ripples spreading across water, some swallowed hard, sensing doom in the air. The alien scientists tried to calculate the ship mass, energy output, and speed. However, their numbers broke their predictions. The results, more frightening each second. They concluded that the approaching vessel used technology far beyond their estimates, something humans should not possess according to their old measurements. The commander stared into the darkness beyond the glass, his voice quiet as he whispered to himself that they must stay calm. But even he could not ignore the terror crawling up his spine. He ordered a fleet-wide message to prepare emergency shields, but before the order could complete, the scanners lost signal entirely. Deep space ahead glowed for a brief moment, then ripped open like a wound. In reality, streaks of white and blue energy spiraled outward, forming a vortex, then a massive shadow emerged slowly at first, then accelerating forward as lights along its hull awakened like blue stars, igniting one by one. The alien crew froze, breathless, eyes wide, hearts pounding for the first time. They saw the truth. The object approaching through the portal was no shuttle, but a warship larger and more powerful than any vessel seen in centuries, a hull so thick and layered that it resembled a floating fortress armed with countless glowing thrusters and weapon ports. The alien commander whispered that this cannot be. Humans only had tiny vessels, weak colonies, and outdated propulsion, or so they thought, but the reality unfolding before them shattered every assumption. A new power was rising before their eyes. The alien fleet communications erupted, some voices frantic, some trembling, demanding orders or explanations. The commander struggled to regain composure. He ordered all ships to retreat 10 kilometers and hold position, but panic spread too fast among captains. Their engines struggled to adjust flight paths. In the tight formation, chaos erupted silently in the vacuum. The human warship engines grew brighter, illuminating surrounding debris like a rising artificial sun. As the ship advanced slowly, with terrifying confidence, it moved as though nothing could stop it, its thrusters not burning, but roaring, a silent declaration of unstoppable power. Inside the alien flagship, the commander clenched his fists, trying to suppress fear. He realized that humanity did not come to make peace by appearing weak. Instead, they arrived to show strength that demanded respect, perhaps even surrender. Perhaps humanity wanted to send a message, a warning, or a reminder of its potential. The alien delegates who prepared celebration banners stood frozen, their welcome rituals meaningless in the shadow of this metal titan. Their songs of peace, swallowed by the roar of fear, doubt, filled every heart. Peace suddenly seemed naive and foolish. The alien commander whispered orders to open channels, request communication, ask if humans wanted peace or war, but before any signal could be sent, the warship hull lights intensified, weapon systems sliding from hidden compartments like claws, unfolding ready for battle. At that moment, the alien fleet realized something deeper about humanity, something they never expected, that humans carried the capacity for unimaginable war, and that they were ready to use it if ever provoked. The arrival of the warship was a declaration that peaceful appearances could be deceiving and that humanity must never be underestimated again. The scene fades as the aliens wait, trembling for the next moment, the next message, the next action, their future hanging on the edge of a blade, suspended in the silent void between peace and war. Terror spread across the alien fleet like a silent scream, moving from ship to ship as the vision of the massive human warship filled every sensor screen. Each captain struggled to control fear, their hands shaking, their minds refusing to accept what their eyes confirmed. The communication channels buzzed and echoed with questions, orders, and rising panic. But in the vacuum of space, the silence felt louder than any alarm. The alien commander stared at the impossibly huge warship drifting toward them, its hull pulsing with blue energy trails like veins of light running across the metal skin. There was a deadly calm in its movements, as if the warship did not need speed to show threat. Its slow advance was more terrifying because it meant complete control and confidence. Inside the flagship, the crew rushed to calculate ship mass, length, and power output. But each new estimate grew more unbelievable. The energy signatures were unlike anything in their records. The numbers displayed on screen made technicians whisper nervously. This was not just a warship. It was something far beyond their understanding, built for destruction and dominance. One young alien officer trembled, saying that humans could not build such ships because humans were new to deep space travel and lacked advanced knowledge. But the commander knew that believing such assumptions was a fatal mistake. He saw the irony. They had underestimated humans because they appeared weak, peaceful, and curious. Yet humans had risen in silent shadows and secrecy, building weapons of unimaginable scale. The alien fleet held position, engines humming, but shields still offline. No one dared to activate defensive measures, fearing humans might interpret it as hostile intent. Within moments, the fleet realized they stood defenseless before a giant predator in complete darkness. The warship engines flared again, glowing brighter as more weapon ports slid open, revealing arrays of massive cannons, missile silos, and laser turret systems activated one after another like claws, extending from a giant beast preparing to strike. The alien officers covered their mouths, eyes wide, faces draining of color. They felt the cold grip of doom tightening. The commander finally ordered emergency retreat maneuver, but half the fleet failed to respond. Captains frozen with fear sensors, overloaded flight path, autopilot, refusing commands. There was a lingering dread that any movement might provoke an attack, like prey fearing to make a sound in front of a hungry predator. Then a deep rumble vibrated through space, a shockwave of silent energy rippling through the void. The warship activated its targeting array, beams of crimson light traced across alien ships, marking selected coordinates and system weak points, a signal that this vessel had scanned and analyzed the entire fleet in seconds as though they were toys. The alien fleet realized that resistance would be useless. The warship had power beyond calculation. When its targeting lights swept across the flagship, the commander felt his knees weaken. He whispered that they must contact the humans immediately before disaster struck. A message needed to be sent, but communications were unstable, interference jamming sensors and frequencies, making transmissions impossible. The panic grew as the disruption spread across systems. Some believed the humans were intentionally blocking communication. Others thought it was the side effect of immense energy signatures. No one knew, but the fear grew thicker, like fog suffocating reason. In the flagship medical bay, anxious crew members hyperventilated, hearts racing, sick with dread, while medics moved swiftly, trying to calm the machinery, hummed faintly. But the cold fear settled heavy and suffocating through the corridors. The air felt poisoned with terror. Some officers argued that humans must not be hostile. Maybe the ship was ceremonial, a display of power meant only to warn and not to destroy. But many did not believe such a hopeful idea, because no species builds something like this warship for peace alone, and silence only increased the tension as everyone waited for humanity's first message. In the outer formation, some alien ships attempted to move slowly backward, trying to increase distance. Sensors flickered with warnings. A faint hum grew louder, resonating through metallic hulls. The warship was adjusting course trajectory, locking aim onto the retreating ships, then stopping abruptly, indicating that nothing could escape its line of control. The flagship commander shouted to disable retreat orders, fearing that disorganized movement might provoke a response. But it was too late. The fleet formation broke slightly into a chaotic cluster of drifting ships, engines, glowing engines, stalling, and navigation arrays freezing under interference. Inside, the warship sensors observed every detail. Humans monitored alien movement silently, decisions being made whether this moment required destruction or diplomacy. The silence itself became a weapon. Every alien heartbeat faster, each passing second stretching like eternity. The alien commander thought of ancient stories about powerful species who appear without warning, crushing entire fleets with a single strike. Now, this fear felt real and present. He clutched the railing, trying to regain control. He ordered engineers to restore communications at all cost, but technicians struggled against interference waves blocking every channel. The broadcast team attempted analog emergency frequencies. Signals bounced back, useless, static-filled speakers. The commander felt helpless because without communication, they could not plead for peace or ask for explanation. The warship headlights shifted, intensifying to blinding brightness. Directional beams illuminating the alien fleet, as though exposing them under a spotlight, like prey frozen under the gaze of a predator. The hull lights moved in sweeping arcs, creating eerie patterns across the void, resembling ancient runes warning messages or symbols of war. The alien commander's eyes widened as he realized the warship was not only displaying power, but also psychological control, breaking the fleet spirit. Without firing a single shot, the display felt like a silent threat, a demonstration of absolute dominance, whispering surrender, submit, or perish. Inside the flagship, engines trembled and power-fluctuated consoles flickered. Technicians desperately rebooted systems, trying to maintain stability. One officer suggested activating shields quietly to protect against sudden attack, while others argued that humans might detect it and fire weapons immediately. Conflict and fear grew among officers with every breath. The commander hesitated, torn between survival and diplomacy. Time moved with agonizing slowness as the warship grew closer, inch by terrifying inch. Some alien crew whispered prayers, others stared blankly, believing death was inevitable. Their voices quivered. The unknown power radiating from the warship shattered their last hope for peaceful first contact. The commander finally steadied his breath, forced courage into his trembling voice, and demanded clarity from scanning teams. They reported final confirmation: the incoming vessel exceeded known limits of density, weapon potential, and shielding technology. The hull material registered unknown, almost indestructible. The crew collapsed into helpless silence, realizing the terrible truth. They were powerless. The fleet was utterly at the mercy of humans, a species once considered weak, now towering over them with unimaginable force. The final moment of the part ends as the warship engines flare again. A deep vibration spreads through space, then a long booming pulse echoes across the fleet. Not a weapon blast, but a communication signal, the first human message, pushing through interference, reaching every ship in the alien formation, leaving everyone breathless, waiting for the message to decode their fate, hanging between peace and destruction. The alien fleet froze as the first signal from the human warship echoed through every vessel. The transmission was a low, vibrating tone, not speech, yet carried meaning like a warning that rippled through their minds. Many officers flinched, expecting weapons to fire at any moment. The silence that followed felt heavier than space itself. Millions of eyes across the fleet stared at consoles, waiting for translation systems to decode the signal. Inside the flagship, the commander paced slowly, his breathing uneven, heart pounding. Each passing second seemed to stretch longer than the last. Fear crawled into every corner of the ship like a cold mist. The giant warship drifted closer, engines burning blue with eerie calm, its exterior armor shimmering with unknown alloy, and faint energy lines pulsed across its surface like veins of power, alive and watching. The alien technicians struggled to extract meaning from the communication pulse sensors, detected synchronized data streams embedded within the tone, a coded message layered and complex beyond expectations of a simple shuttle transmission. This further confirmed that humanity possessed intelligence and technology far superior to what the aliens believed. The scanners suddenly flashed with new readings indicating internal weapon systems, heating up. The alien crew's eyes widened, and whispers turned frantic. Some believed an attack was coming, others insisted it was a display of controlled threat, and that humans wanted to intimidate rather than destroy. Yet no one knew for certain. Fear spread like infection, weakening resolve and discipline across the fleet. Inside the warship, rows of automated weapons aligned, silently pointing outward without motion from a living crew, as if the vessel itself possessed some consciousness or advanced artificial intelligence. The alien scanners registered the shifting weapon ports, calculating potential fire zones and impact areas. If the warship decided to strike, the entire fleet could be reduced to wreckage within seconds. The flagship bridge lights flickered under interference, each glitch sending waves of panic through the nervous crew. The commander forced his voice steady, ordering everyone to stay calm. Shields must remain offline until communication occurs. Any defensive response could trigger human aggression. Maintaining peace was the only hope, even though it felt foolish in the presence of such power. The alien navigator gasped as telemetry showed the warship adjusting course slightly, tilting its massive hull toward the flagship. The gesture appeared intentional, as though humans knew the flagship held leadership and military authority over the fleet. The warship engines hummed softly, vibrating through the sensors, its soundless movement amplified terror. The crew searched desperately through galactic records for proof of humans ever building such powerful technology, but no data existed. This meant humans possessed secret development programs or hidden colonies building a military far in advance of their known public technology. The aliens now understood that assumptions of human weakness were lies or illusions masking frightening strength. In the medical bay, more crew members struggled with rising panic, mental stress, overwhelming their training. Medics injected calming agents and sedatives, try to maintain stability. The command crew feared that discipline might collapse entirely before communication could be established. Fear is a corrosive force. It spreads silently, eating away breath and hope. Then the signal returned, this time a sequence of rhythmic pulses washed through comm systems. Long-range sensors synchronized automatically, indicating the message was encrypted in universal communication format, a rare transmission code used only during interspecies diplomacy or conflict negotiations. This meant humans did not come blindly, but with intention. Translation units struggled, parsing fragments, detecting a prelude message like a request for response, but interference disrupted clarity. Technicians adjusted frequencies, dampening energy waves, and slowly, the first deciphered line appeared across screens, revealing chilling meaning. Prepare for contact, stand by for declaration. The words shattered the last illusion of safety. Many officers stared, shaking. The diplomatic message did not promise peace nor threat, but hinted a declaration that could decide fate. The alien commander inhaled, shutting eyes, with regret, feeling that diplomacy might already be lost, yet there was still a narrow glimmer of hope. Communication meant intention, dialogue, perhaps negotiation. Across the fleet, signals attempted formation, alignment, ships steadied positions, trying to appear organized, though panic still simmered beneath every command. The idea of retreat was abandoned as engines risked malfunction under interference. Some captains believed submission was the only survival, while others whispered that humans might demand surrender or tribute as condition for peace. The warship, now fully visible, cast a vast shadow across the fleet, blocking starlight, its titanic hull towering like a mountain, drifting slow, inevitable, unstoppable. Tiny alien vessels dwarfed by the monstrous presence. Scanners revealed layered armor, impossible thickness, as if designed to survive planetary bombardments. The ship seemed ancient and new at the same time, carrying scars of past battles and markings unreadable in known language. The diplomatic drones that were earlier prepared now floated useless, their cheerful lights dim and ridiculous in the presence of war. The alien delegation watched in silence, hearts sinking. They once practiced peaceful speeches, now trembling, unable to imagine speaking in front of this silent Titan. Warships do not negotiate, they command. Inside the flagship bridge, a new alert chimed. Soft but terrifying. Long-range tactical scanners detected energy buildup around the warship hull, perhaps shield reinforcement or weapon preparation. Technicians debated fiercely, trying to classify readings, but no definitive answer appeared. Fear grew thicker, like smoke choking thought and hope. The alien commander forced calm, recalling ancient war records where civilizations fell due to fear, not weaponry. He reminded crew that this moment called for patience and diplomacy despite overwhelming terror. He ordered a last attempt to open secure communication channels using ancient emergency protocol rarely used, reserved only for life or death situations. Engineers rerouted power through backup circuits, bypassing interference shields. Communications pulsed again, sending a signal into void toward the warship. A few moments past eternity folded into silence. Then the human warship responded with a powerful synchronized pulse. The transmission stabilized, creating a channel of communication bridging the void. The alien commander stepped forward, voice steady, but trembling internally. He introduced his fleet and requested peaceful dialogue, repeating message several times, hoping humans understood. He asked why such a massive warship came for peaceful contact, and whether their intentions were hostile or diplomatic. A long pause followed. The warship hovered motionless, like a sleeping monster reluctant to answer. Finally, data packets streamed across communication channel. Translation units struggled, parsing alien encryption, breaking fragments. Slowly, message segments formed, combining into coherent text. The first words materialized, chilling every heart across alien fleet. Humanity does not trust peace without strength. Silence consumed the fleet as meaning struck deep. The aliens realized humanity brought Warship to negotiate from position of power, not weakness. Humans wanted to show strength, to prevent betrayal, not to start one. The Warship arrival was not an attack, but a demonstration that humans learned from past suffering and would never again arrive small or defenseless. The fleet trembled as another message followed, more cryptic, ominous, suggesting humanity possessed even greater power hidden from view. This vessel is only our vanguard. More forces await beyond the veil. Panic surged again, yet a deeper fear took root. This warship was not the ultimate human weapon, only the first scout of sorts, hinting at fleets unimaginable waiting beyond hyperspace gates. The implications shattered every belief aliens held about humans, marking dawn of a terrifying new era. The chapter ends as the commander prepares to respond, his voice shaking the fleet, awaiting words that might determine whether peace survives or war begins in the silent void between stars. The alien commander stood frozen, every muscle tense as the last human message echoed across the fleet. His mind raced, struggling to understand the depth of meaning within the cryptic warning. The alien officers watched him, waiting for orders, terrified that any wrong move, any wrong word could trigger devastation. With a single command, the warship could erase their entire fleet from existence, and no one doubted that truth anymore. Hydraulics hummed softly through the flagship corridors, consoles flickered, and pulses of static crawled across communication screens. Sensors continued tracking the massive human warship that hovered in silence, its weapons dormant, but visible and ready. Crew members whispered prayers or silent goodbyes, fearing that their lives could end within seconds without warning. The commander steadied himself, then ordered a formal reply to the mysterious message. Crew rushed to compose the transmission using ancient diplomatic protocol, asking humans to clarify intentions, offering peaceful communication, and requesting terms to prevent conflict. They asked if humans sought alliance, trade, or territory, and why they arrived armed with overwhelming power at a first contact ceremony. The message was transmitted, yet no reply came. Seconds passed, turning into minutes, tension tightening like a noose around every throat. On every ship, the silence felt intentional, calculated psychological warfare, designed to break spirit and enforce fear. Without a single weapon fired, some officers wondered if humans monitored their emotional response, waiting for weakness, hesitation, or panic before making final decision. Inside the flagship war room, holographic models of the warship rotated slowly. Analysts mapped weapon ranges, shield projections, and strategic comparisons. Every simulation predicted disaster. No scenario allowed alien fleet to survive. If war began, calculations revealed that even retreat would be impossible. Hyperspace engines would fail before clearing weapon range. Thunderstorms of energy fields cloaked hyperspace exits, trapping the fleet helpless. The commander asked if the warship alone generated these hyperspace disruptions, but technicians shook heads, indicating probability of hidden vessels beyond detection range, perhaps entire fleets waiting unseen, or some advanced cloaking tech that scrambled scans. Anxiety spread like wildfire, devouring courage and reason. Meanwhile, aboard the warship, silence remained total. No transmissions, no signals, only sensors activated, scanning every alien vessel, as if judging value, threats, or weaknesses. The cold evaluation felt predatory, calculating lethal efficiency. Officers wondered if humans intended to conquer worlds and species one by one, establishing dominance across the galaxy through precision and fear. Deep inside, alien flagship communication teams detected faint encrypted pulses coming from beyond warship position. Micro signals, barely noticeable, yet structured like coordination between multiple vessels. If true humans were not alone, they prepared coordinated maneuvers with unseen allies. This realization shattered last fragments of hope for victory or escape. Some officers argued surrender now prevent needless destruction, yet others resisted, refusing to surrender. Without attempting diplomacy, chaos spread. In whispers, the commander silenced them. With stern voice demanding unity, discipline, and calm, he reminded them that panic would doom them faster than any weapon. He believed diplomacy still held slim chance survival, demanded reason, not fear. As the fleet struggled to maintain order, external sensors detected shift in warship formation. The massive hull rotated slowly, exposing new weapon banks, glowing faint blue energy, charging dynamically across surface. Plating circuitry lit patterns like runes, ancient and unreadable. Some believe humans embedded messages coded in a hull for intimidation, suggesting cultural symbolism of conquest or memory of wars long forgotten. The alien commander clenched jaw, silent, fearing this motion signaled impending attack. He ordered minimal shield activation, hoping humans would not detect it, but shield systems flickered, failing under interference, suggesting humans controlled electromagnetic space around them, creating invisible cage, disabling defensive systems subtly and silently. Engineers trembled, realizing that humans dominated not just physical battlefield but electronic and psychological warfare simultaneously. They took control of space environment, shaping battlefield before combat even began. This demonstrated level of strategic preparation unmatched by any known species. Communications flickered again, finally receiving incoming human message. Translation units scrambled to decode fragments. Phrases emerged slowly, chilling in neutral tone. Humanity speaks now, remains silent. And listen. Message was short, but tone carried authority, power, control, demanding absolute obedience. Alien commander lowered his head, feeling weight of this command heavier than gravity. Silence fell across fleet as everyone awaited next line. Translation continued. Humanity desires peace, but peace requires respect. Humans have history of betrayal, loss, destruction. Now humanity arrives strong to ensure survival and prevent past tragedies. Repetition of peace mixed with strength created eerie duality. Message warning that diplomacy rested upon recognition of human power. Underlying threat was clear: respect or perish. The commander responded humbly, offering full cooperation, admitting misjudgment of human capabilities, pledging diplomacy and peaceful negotiation, but his voice trembled, betraying fear across the fleet. Officers swallowed pain, pride shattering, intimidated by human show of force, now begging survival through words alone. Lights dimmed across flagship deck systems, stabilizing slightly as interference decreased. Sign: human warship allowed communication, intentionally. Signals carried message of control. Humans held reins, deciding when aliens could speak, when systems worked, demonstrating absolute dominance without a single fired shot. Then humans sent new message encoded with coordinates, requesting flagship send single shuttle unarmed, without escorts, directly to designated docking bay aboard warship. Diplomatic council selected to board. Humans let aliens approach only under strict limitations. Risk enormous fear, overwhelming refusal whispered, but commander insisted acceptance. Diplomacy only hope. He selected delegation, including strategic officer, scientist, translator, and himself, to board shuttle. None protested, though terror etched into faces. Shuttle prepared, engines warmed, crew silent, boarding craft like prisoners heading toward doom, leaving families, friends behind, knowing they may not return. As shuttle launched, small compared to warship, insignificant speck drifting toward titanic hull. Alien fleet watched, holding collective breath. Cargo bay doors on warship opened silently, like jaw of giant beast, drawing shuttle inward into massive void. Interior dark lit by faint blue illumination. Shadows danced across towering metal structures beyond imaginable scale, like cavern carved in an asteroid filled with dormant power. Inside, shuttle anxiety thick enough to choke air. Translator accessed portable devices, trying to decode hull symbols, failing technology. Insufficient crew whispered fear, humans far beyond comprehension. Scientists stared, mesmerized by alien human tech, believing breakthrough discoveries hidden beneath armored layers, wishing to study rather than fear humans. As shuttle passed through magnetic seals, gravity shifted artificial atmospheric readings, checked stable interior lights, activated illuminating docking platform, smooth, dark metal polished, cold reflective, like obsidian guardian drones, floated silently around edges, weapon systems dormant, but unervingly present delegation, stepped out, feet, trembling breaths, shallow, each step echoing against vast chamber walls displaying insignias. Unknown geometric patterns pulsed faint light through metal as if alive. Finally, a voice echoed through chamber, artificial, calm, monotone. Welcome, you may speak, state intentions, negotiate with honesty, or consequences will follow. Aliens froze, voice deep, authoritative, resonating through bones. Command impossible to ignore. Delegation stepped forward, preparing to speak. Hearts pounding, fate uncertain, standing before unknown terror, trapped inside Warship of humanity, awaiting decision that could change destiny of galaxy forever. The alien delegation stood trembling on the cold metal floor of the Warship docking bay. The artificial voice faded into silence, leaving them surrounded by echoes and fear. Shadows stretched along enormous walls, moving like silent ghosts. The alien commander inhaled, slowly forcing courage into his shaking limbs. He stepped forward, aware that every movement was observed by invisible sensors, possibly weapons reading vital signs and intentions. The atmosphere inside the warship felt heavy, pressing against skin and mind with unseen weight, as though the vessel itself tested the will of its visitors. The command crew had expected organic humans to greet them, but there was only silence and hovering drones, implying that something deeper controlled this ship, perhaps an artificial intelligence with far greater processing power than any alien computers. The translator activated vocal device, calling out intent for peaceful negotiations, voice quivering while reverberating through vast chamber. The reply came instantly void of emotion, listing strict protocols and demands before talks could begin. The delegation must surrender all weapons, data devices, and cyber implants. Scanning beams swept across them, disarming security protocols and disabling implants in seconds, proving humans' control over every system here. The crew exchanged fearful looks, realizing they were helpless, isolated within this titanic vessel. No escape, no possibility of communication with fleet. Without permission, every heartbeat became louder, each step heavier. But the commander nodded, complying, knowing refusal would likely mean instant destruction. Negotiations were the only fragile hope for survival. Glowing floor panels lit up, forming a path, guiding delegation through corridors so vast and silent. Voices, echoes stretching until swallowed by distance. As they walked deeper into warship internal structure, they observed walls layered with exotic metals, pulsating faint light across circuit, like veins humming energy beneath surface, giving impression of living machinery, conscious and aware. Scientists among delegation studied walls, fascinated, whispering theories that humans discovered or engineered material beyond known physics, possible self-regenerating armor or adaptive shielding, allowing vessel to endure catastrophic attacks. Translator urged silence, cautioning that curiosity might be misinterpreted as weakness or threat. Sensors tracked biometrics, heart rate, breathing, micro muscle movements, recording every detail. After long walk, delegation entered central chamber, circular, vast ceiling lost in darkness. Platform rose from floor, surrounded by levitating screens, flickering symbols, runes, unknown languages, and tactical projections of alien fleet positions. Hovering above like prey marked for slaughter, drones floated near perimeter, motionless, but vigilant. One wrong step could trigger response. Suddenly, spherical hologram flickered to life, forming symbol resembling human insignia, glowing bright, pulsing with authority. Deep, resonating voice echoed throughout chamber, this time translated directly, speech simple yet terrifying. Aliens, you approached our borders with diplomacy, yet without respect. Humans do not appear weak, we appear prepared. Our history forged this resolve. The delegation listened, terrified. Commander's mind flooded with regret over assumptions made before arrival. The voice continued. Lessons written in blood across centuries of betrayal taught humanity strength is language galaxies understand. Humans speak strength now, so peace may survive. Delegation trembled, understanding terrible truth. Humans built Warship to prevent deception, intimidation, to ensure fairness through fear, not aggression. The alien commander stepped forward, speaking in trembling voice, offering apology, acknowledging misjudgment, requesting dialogue, trade, and cultural exchange, offering open cooperation, sharing scientific knowledge, seeking peaceful coexistence. Voice echoed hopelessly against metallic walls. The silence, after reply, stretched. Unbearable drones shifted ever so slightly, sensors pulsing, scanning sincerity, honesty, fear, calculations running, silently assessing threat level. Finally, hologram pulsed, responding. Humanity observes sincerity, yet remains cautious. History warns us of false promises. We grant opportunity for diplomacy under condition of respect. Delegation side, faint relief rippling through ranks, though fear still gripped their hearts. Then another disturbing command emerged. Humans demanded alien fleet retreat to perimeter beyond weapons range, leaving flagship Shuttle alone under supervision. Humans would initiate communication only when fleet complied, asserting dominance and eliminating potential surprise attacks. Commander knew refusal meant death. He ordered withdrawal, though ashamed at vulnerability. Commander's voice transmitted through personal link to fleet captains, instructing immediate compliance. Ships complied slowly, engines firing, navigating cautiously, retreating as fear paralyzed minds. Worried movement might provoke Warship, but nothing happened. Warship remained silent, motionless, like predators satisfied with submission. As fleet moved, drones shifted position around delegation, forming silent escort, leading them deeper in a chamber corridor, narrowing walls, glowing symbols, changing dynamically, possibly communicating silent messages or adapting environment based on delegation biological readings, causing unease. Scientists monitored readings, detecting subtle energy waves, stimulating neural patterns, possibly influencing emotions, maintaining fear to ensure obedience. The commander spoke again, voice low but firm, requesting transparency, asking why humans required such overwhelming threat for peace. Warship hologram flickered, response chilling. Humans know peace lasts only when backed by strength. Words alone invite betrayal. Weapons ensure respect, trust earned through capability, not vulnerability. Memories of ancient wars, lost colonies, suffering, and sacrifice shaped human doctrine. Fleet exists not for conquest, but deterrence. Aliens exchanged grim looks, realizing that though humans claimed peaceful intent, their methods spread fear throughout galaxy. Their fleet, unseen, lurking beyond hyperspace, meant humanity prepared for war at any provocation. Balance of power shifting dramatically. Negotiations continued. Translator parsing every word carefully, terrified of misunderstanding. Commanding voice remained steady, calm, emotionless, every sentence a calculated warning wrapped in diplomacy. Delegation pleaded for reassurance that humans would not attack or invade. Warship answered, we seek partnership, not dominion, but partnership requires equals, not weakness. Words left delegation shaken, understanding that humans saw themselves as guardians enforcing peace by intimidation, willing to demonstrate power rather than request trust. Alien species across galaxy would tremble learning about this doctrine, fearing inevitable human expansion or retaliation if challenged. Silence grew heavy again. Crew stared at holographic projections, showing alien fleet surrounding planet, now distant from warship. Drones guarding shuttle pathways. Then new image appeared, unknown fleet signatures, dozens, maybe hundreds beyond hyperspace layer, confirming suspicion that more human warships remained hidden, waiting. Cloaked scanning systems failing to detect earlier, now revealed intentionally as negotiation tactic. Psychological pressure crushing delegation spirits. The commander whispered, shattered voice, asking next steps, Yet hologram responded without mercy. Negotiations must prove sincerity. Humans demanded tribute, technological exchange, access to research facilities, mutual defense pact, and recognition of human sovereignty. Terms strict, leaning toward dominance rather than balanced alliance. Alien delegation hesitated. Understanding terms meant long-term subordination. Subtle, yet binding surrender masked as alliance. Fear lingered, but Commander realized refusal meant annihilation and acceptance ensured survival for now. He prepared response, heart heavy, forcing voice steady, as he said, "Alien people, accept negotiation, terms for survival." Warship hologram pulsed, acknowledging response, yet added ominous final line, "Remember, resistance invites destruction, cooperation invites survival." Silence returned, and scene closed with alien commander realizing humanity. Diplomacy operated under doctrine. Fear enforced peace weapon against betrayal. Delegation understood too late that moment changed future, shaping fate of civilizations. Alliances forged in shadow of terror, threatening new era of galactic balance. Balanced on edge of warship, guns awaiting next decision, waiting silent, powerful, unpredictable, ready to unleash unimaginable force should trust be broken. The alien commander felt his heart pound like thunder, trapped inside metal ribs as silence returned after accepting human terms. The warship chamber stood still, echoing eerie, quiet shadows stretched across polished surfaces like claws reaching for the delegation, their breath shallow, dripping in cold sweat, suspended between hope and despair. Even after tentative agreement, fear remained heavier than gravity. Thoughts swirled with doubt, wondering if accepting terms truly ensured survival or simply delayed inevitable doom. Slow, rhythmic hum pulsed through warship walls, vibrations spreading along floors, sending tremors through alien bones. Holographic symbol flickered, subtly shifting into new pattern. Screens surrounding platform reconfigured, showing tactical graphs, data overlays, maps of star systems and routes previously unknown to alien. Alliance scientists stared mesmerized, recognizing patterns, perhaps mapping unknown human territories beyond charted space, reinforcing suspicion that humanity possessed vast empire, unseen and unchallenged. Warship voice returned slowly. Humans recognize acceptance, but must confirm sincerity to prevent deception. Delegation stiffened, uncertainty choking. Air voice explained, humanity requires demonstration of goodwill, exchange of limited information about alien fleet technology, politics, resources only partial, not complete. Symbolic gesture of transparency. Aliens realize humans tested trust by offering mutual vulnerability, though imbalance remained. Humans far stronger. Delegation hesitated, fear tightening throats, revealing strategic data risky, yet refusal meant destruction. Negotiations hung on edge like blade above necks. Commander whispered instruction to provide minimal technical specifications, carefully crafted, not revealing weaknesses, ensuring survival, while meeting demand. Holographic screens recorded transmitted data. Drones monitored neural responses, detecting stress deception algorithms, analyzing speech patterns, pulse rhythms, micro expressions, evaluating truthfulness. Humans controlled atmosphere with precision, manipulative, terrifying. The warship paused, then acknowledged acceptable gesture. Hologram shifted again, displaying new data, incoming, revealing glimpses into humanity, philosophy, doctrine, history, painful memories, wars, betrayals, genocides suffered by humans, ancient era civilizations harmed by broken peace treaties. Betrayal trauma shaped human fear and resolved their belief. Peace requires absolute deterrence, overwhelming power to prevent treason. The alien delegation listened, shaken, understanding sorrow behind strength. Warship then broadcast deeper message. Humans do not seek conquest, but survival in galaxy filled with unpredictable threats. Humanity rises united, prepared to defend existence. Peace must be guarded by those strong enough to protect it. Words echoed heavy moral weight. Sorrowful yet resolute aliens saw humans not as aggressors, but survivors bearing scars of betrayal. Scars transformed into weapons and ships forged through anguish, pain, and will then never kneel again. Delegations slowly began to perceive fragile potential for fragile alliance despite oppressive fear. Warship open possibility for dialogue, mutual defense, research partnership, hope faint, but present though balance of power vastly unequal. Commander nodded, expressing gratitude, fragile courage, trembling voice offering exchange, diplomacy, understanding, trust, slowly growing across abyss between fleets. Then, unexpected alert flashed across screens. External sensors detected unknown signatures approaching from distant quadrant. Unknown fleet, not registered. Hostile trajectory toward alien fleet. And human warship. Alarms silently lit inside warship. Drones shifted positions, hovering. Defensive posture. Energy shields activated. Pulsing subtle shimmer across hull. Tension exploded like wildfire across minds. New threat emerging, disrupting fragile negotiations. Balance, unstable alliance, now tested instantly. Under fire of unknown danger. Alien commander panicked, fearing that unknown fleet might believe warship arrival. Hostile targeting both fleets, perhaps conflict inevitable. Warship voice cut through tension, commanding alien fleet maintain position, not engage until further analysis. Warship initiated tactical scan, beams piercing void, revealing incoming vessels. Unknown markings, high energy output, far exceeding alien fleet, but weaker than human warship scale. Uncertain motives, unknown dread spread, thick, suffocating air. Realization dawned, impending second contact, perhaps dangerous enemies, now aware of human power. Warship began activating internal systems, networks, humming lights, intensifying weapons, sliding out, silently aligning toward unknown threat. Smooth, efficient, terrifying. Delegation watched in awe, unable to comprehend speed, precision, capacity for war preparation. Signals transmitted through hyperspace, linking additional vessels unseen, awakening fleets dormant, empowering defense grid beyond imagination. Humans prepared for second engagement without hesitation, absolute control, calculated precision. Alien delegation trembled, witnessing power beyond comprehension, feeling insignificant, helpless, within storm rising outside. Warship voice returned, addressing alien commander. Humanity offers choice, stand with us in alliance, share threat, or retreat, abandoning treaty, risking annihilation. Humans warned that retreat signals betrayal. Humans intolerant of betrayal, forged by past trauma. Tension, peak, decision required immediate. Commander faced impossible dilemma, oath to protect his people conflicting. Fear of joining war with unknown threat, yet rejecting alliance, ensure destruction by humanity. Warship engines growled, low quake, vibrating floor, signaling urgency. Time thinning second by second. Commander closed eyes, steadying breath, remembering faces of his people, children, citizens, farms, cities. He imagined warship fire obliterating worlds, remembered fleets, vulnerable, terrified, paralyzed. He opened eyes, voice steady, with resolve, speaking. Humans taught lesson of strength. Survival requires courage and sacrifice. We stand with you, alliance, forged under threat, united against unknown enemy. Words echoed, surprising delegation. Strength returning, fear turning into resolve, dignity restored through choice, not submission. Warship hologram pulsed acknowledgement. Humanity recognizes courage. Alliance sealed new protocol, initiated tactical synchronization, activated drones, position near delegation, escorting them back to shuttle, allowing return to flagship for joint preparation. Data streams open, sharing limited tactical maps, enemy trajectories, attack predictions, communication, encryption, linking fleets, forming temporary unified network. Shock rippled through alien minds, experiencing integration into advanced system. Overwhelming but miraculous hope blooming through terror. Alliance granting access to civilization of incredible power. Fleet outside, reorganized, positioning ships alongside warship, cautiously awaiting further commands. Unknown enemy signatures drawing closer. Energy readings spiking, tension electrifying, void anticipation thick like fog. Signals accelerated. Warship engines ignited, shifting formation. Shields expanding, protective barrier across allied fleets. Human fleet emerging from shadows, cloaked vessels decloaking one by one, dozens, then hundreds. shimmering like ghosts materializing from fabric of space silent. Unstoppable, terrifying, yet comforting to Allied fleet seeing protection materialize before battle. The alien delegation aboard Shuttle racing back through docking tunnel calm, mixed with fear, adrenaline, hearts pounding. They realized Warship arrival, fate, not doom, but awakening, revealing truth about fragile peace, dangerous galaxy, cruel reality, trust enforced by strength or annihilation. Battleship, not symbol of destruction, but survival system, forged in pain, trauma, and will to protect humans prepared to fight for peace with. Unstoppable force, unwilling to repeat history of betrayal and loss. Shuttle launched from Warship docking bay, engines flaring bright, gliding toward flagship shields, oscillating synchronously with human systems for first time. Fleets aligned, enemies unknown, approaching, relentless, unstoppable, until last moment alien commander stepped into bridge, eyes intense, commanding crew prepare, tactical integration, and coordinate with human warship, hearts filled with shaky courage. Fate of alliance sealed under shadow of war. New era dawned, united by fear and survival. Story of unexpected alliance forged through terror, not trust, preparing to face enemy beyond horizon. Unknown threat approaching as chapter closes. Suspense heavy, waiting for battle to erupt, tearing silence apart and marking beginning of new destiny for galaxy forever changed.